My Hero Academia pretend to be a superhero stories, but it's not. It's a story about society that outsourced morality to a job title, and then act surprised when everything collapsed. At first glance, anime shades look hopeful, bright colors, smiling heroes, catchy slogans, but underneath the optimism is a system that doesn't actually fix problems. It manages appearance, and that's difference matter. In the first few seasons, you might see all the heroic parts, all the smiles, all the joy, but when you get to the later, you start to see a pattern, a system that is failing. That is treat heroism as a career, not a responsibility. In my MHA, being a hero is a life profession. You get certified, you get ranked, you get paid. That alone isn't bad. People deserve to make a living. The problem is how success is measured. Heroes aren't rewarded for preventing harm long term, reducing societal instability, helping people before they snap. They rewarded for arrest, visibility, popularity, which turn heroism into performance. Saving people quietly doesn't matter. Saving people on camera does. So heroes does optimizing for attention, not because they're evil, but because the system emphasizes it. The rank system corrupt intel. Heroes' rankings are treated like sports stats. Who solve the most cases? Who's tending? Who look reassuring? The creators are in subtitles but deadly shift. Heroes stop asking what's the right thing and start asking what look heroic. And one image matters more than outcome. Mistake get hidden instead of fixed. This is why scandals in MHA are devastating. Not because the heroes failed, but because the system pretend they don't. All Might's greatest mistake is that he's not a villain, but he has done more harm than any villain has ever done. But he is the system's biggest flaw. By becoming the perfect symbol, he intentionally taught society the wrong lesson. He taught them heroes will handle it, evil will be stopped, you don't need to be interfere. Civilians stop helping each other. Heroes stop preparing for a world without him. The government stopped investigating in prevention. All Might didn't create peace, he paused consequences. When he fought everything, he was holding back Rush at once. That's not a failure of a man, that's a failure of a structure that rely on him. In MHA, your quirk is your resume. Strong, you're praised. Useful, you're employed. Dangerous, you're monitored. The system doesn't ask how do we help you live safely, it asks how much of a problem are you and how much benefit we can gain from you. This is where villains originally begin. Not with hate, with isolation. People aren't born broken. They're managed instead of supported. Understanding villains without excusing them. This is why MHA is smart. It lets you understand villains without forgetting them. You can see why Shikari snapped, why Toga felt trapped, why Dobby burned everything, and still say what you did was wrong. Empathy explains behavior. It does not erase his responsibility. The balance is rare and important because once someone commit murder, terrorism, or mass harm, their pain doesn't undo the damage. They still have to live with it. MHA would never forget that. Most hero stories say evils exist, heroes stop it. MHA say, why does evil keep showing up? And the answer keeps coming back to the same place. The system. It's always a system. Sometimes I personally believe that treats children in a weird way. Hero schools, child soldiers, and old mistakes repeating itself. If you look back through history, real history, there's a pattern that keeps repeating. When society feels threatened, it stops asking what is right and start asking what is efficient. That's where My Hero schools come in. In the early days of Quirk, hero schools were sold as hope, a place to train, protect, and guide the next generation. At first, that sounds reasonable. Power without control is dangerous, but power without a choice is worse. Because hero school didn't just teach their kids how to use Quirk, they taught them what their worth was. UA students are not adults, they're emotionally developing. They don't understand death yet, they don't fully grasp consequences, and yet they're trained to fight armed criminals, face mass casualty villains, enter war zone. History has a word for this, child soldiers. The uniforms, aka the costumes, are nicer, the slogans, the fucking mottos are brighter, but the result is still the same. A generation taught them that their pain is part of the job. The old world justify it too. In the old wars, adults say the same thing. They're strong enough, they volunteer, they save us. But volunteering as a child isn't consent, it's expectation. And UA students aren't asking, do you want this life? They told, this is what heroes do, and heroes don't quit. UA doesn't just test strength, it tests how much suffering you can endure. Near-death exam, villain attack treated as a lesson. Loss, fame as growth. This is education, is a condition working until it breaks people. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The hero system needs children. Adult questions order children neutralize. Children not they fucking adults will question orders. Children will just listen to them. Adults hesitate. Children rush forward. Children still believe that suffering equals meaning. That makes them perfect tools. The system celebrate victory. It doesn't talk about PTSD, survival guilt, or emotional suppression. Heroes are trained to smile. Crying is a weakness. Hesitation is failure, so trauma get buried, and buried trauma always come back. Villains were once those kids. This is when the timeline closed in on itself. Many villains were once children with no support, reject, fear, or ignored. They were protected by school. They weren't protected by school. They weren't sharpened by the same values. Power define you. Control yourself or be controlled. Someone snapped earlier. Some last longer, but some of them were created by a world that treat people as tools at first and humans second. Let this be clear. Feeling for a villain does not mean excusing them. Murder is murder, terror is terrorism. Explain choices. It does not erase consequences. Villain and MHA aren't misunderstood heroes. They're people who's crossed the line and now we must live them. The tragedy is the system keep producing them, but that does not excuse any villain of their action. Old civilization felt the same way. They demand sacrifice, glorify suffering, ignore warning sign, and when the next generation broke, they blame the individual, not the structure. MHA is a story after the fall, a reminder of what happened when a society asked children to carry burdens even adults couldn't hold. And out of all the MHA things, I genuinely cannot get enough of Stain. Heroes, God, and why the hero killer spoke the truth. In old days, people don't worship heroes, they idolize, they worship ideas, justice, honor, duty. But in My Hero Academia, those ideas were replaced by a face that can lie. The hero system didn't just protect society, it entertained it. Hero had agency, heroes who chase money, fame, status, and for the first time someone said out loud, you don't deserve the title. Why his words hit so hard? Stain spoke when the system buried. The heroism has become shallow. The sacrifices was a performance. The symbol replaced substitute. And the scariest part, people listen, not because they agree with his method, but because they recognize the truth underneath the blood. Liking him doesn't mean supporting him. Instead of reformers, they double down. More ranking, more branding, more smile heroes. They treat the sympathy, not the disease. And disease doesn't disappear when ignored. When MHA killed, when the hero killer matters, Stain didn't break the system. He revealed his crack. He showed that people were actually doubting. Heroes were already not competent. Faith was already fragile. He wasn't the cause. He was a warning. History repeats itself. Many of the heroes many villains idolize him because they agree with his message he was trying to say. I believe it was Spinner, Toga, and Dabi that I can mainly remember who believe in his ideals, who I guess they were inspired by him to join the League of Villains. Those were the actions of Stain. He started something that could change the entire world. I don't want to end this on a sad on this note, so I have nothing else to say aside from Mirko is a hot mommy. That's all I have to say, guys. Like and subscribe.